Hello, everyone, and welcome to the very first episode of For Torrey. I'm Nathan.
It's a girl. What's cookies on?
Am I going to Girl Scout cookies or am I going to hear the sirens? You can.
You think they heard the sirens?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
What is this, man? What is this? What did you do?
I don't know, man. Show the world.
What did you do, man?
Show the world.
What did you do?
I didn't do nothing. It is time for Torrey and Nathan to separate and go on its own. It is time for it to finally have its own home channel with its name right there at the top. Hello, you beautiful people, and welcome into another episode of the For Torrey I'm Nathan podcast. We are live once again on a beautiful Thursday night. And yes, there is a reason why I had to change and put on the North Carolina Tar Heel gear. First off, welcome, Mr. Torrey Clyburn. I know we're a little bit later than normal. Apologize for that. But hey, we're here. We're going to have a good show. We're going to have a great time. We've got a full slate. But breaking news finally hit. We talked about this shows ago when this was a big topic out there in the NCAA world. But the North Carolina Tar Heels, Devontae Walker, was officially granted full eligibility effective immediately. And he will be on the field this Saturday as the North Carolina Tar Heels take on Syracuse at home in Kenan Stadium. 3:30 p.m. I think it's going to be on ESPN or the ACC network. It's going to be a fun game, big game for the Tar Heels. And as they kick off a really tough stretch now in their season. First off, this is amazing. This should have been done years ago. It feels like it's been years, weeks ago.
Right.
Should have been done weeks ago. This thing should have been done, but it wasn't.
But it got done.
It finally got done. Thank God it finally got done. It got taken care of. Kind of to relay everybody, to catch everybody up, and then we're actually going to look in what the NCAA said earlier. I've got the image of that, so we're going to see that in just a second. But dating back to, let's go all the way back to January. Devontae Walker decides to come and enroll and transfer from Kent State. He had originally decided to go to East Tennessee State from high school, committed to there. Before he got there, he suffered an injury. I think it was a torn ACL in high school. They gray shirted him, basically says, we don't want you. He never enrolled. He never enrolled in classes. They basically said, hey, go get healthy and maybe come back to us next year. So when he did that, UNC Central was the team that he went to. Now, this is the COVID year. This is 2020. What's going on? COVID. Everybody's got the sniffles, it seems. So in that time, the FCS schools and Group of Five and everything decided not to have a season. No season for these guys at all. It was canceled. They had a little bit of spring practice, then the whole thing was canceled. He did participate in spring practice. Once that happened, he then moved to Kent State because he wanted to play. He wanted to play football. This is what he wants to do. Guy's highly talented. He's touted everywhere. Had been there for 2 seasons, had made himself an NFL prospect in no time, and this kid was lighting up the world. So this past offseason, he decides, first off, his grandmother, who was very close to him, helped raise him, wanted to see him play some college football. Hadn't saw him be able to do that yet. She lives in Charlotte, North Carolina, and which is obviously just about 2 hours out of Chapel Hill. And she hadn't been able to see him. She was having some health problems, and he felt that it was time to come home. Number one, North Carolina was always his dream school. He always wanted to come here. Second off, he wants to play for his grandmother. Really, that's really the first reason. The North Carolina thing was the secondary, reason. But I think he just wanted to move close to home. He got the opportunity. He comes in, enrolls in class January 9th of 2023. January 11th comes. The NCAA comes down with a brand new rule to limit 2-time transfers. And basically, if you were a quote-unquote 2-time transfer, it means you had played at a school, you had transferred, you had played at another school, and you transferred, then you would have to sit out a whole year, 2 semesters. They don't count summer as a semester, so a fall and a spring, which means you'd miss a whole season of football or whatever sport you're playing, really.
Yeah.
And then you could play the following year. So the NCAA deemed Devontae Walker in late August, early September, that I know actually it was early August because we played the first game September 2nd, so it was early August, about 4 weeks from the first game against South Carolina in Charlotte, September the 2nd, week 1 against the Gamecocks. Big time game.
Yeah.
Both teams coming off a hot series, hot seasons. Who knows what's going to happen? They deemed this guy ineligible. After 7 months, by the way, they deem him ineligible. North Carolina fights him back and forth, stating that this guy's not a two-time transfer. He went to UNC Central. They had no football season, no play. He went to Kent State, played there 2 years, came to North Carolina, had double-checked. Everything was good. They followed the process, and the process was fine. Everything was good. They had issue with it. They said, no, he's a two-time transfer. They looked at him playing in spring practice, not a game, not spring games, none of that stuff, a spring practice, just him and his teammates on the field practicing. They counted that and deemed him ineligible. And this has been a back and forth fight for weeks and weeks and weeks. We are currently going into week 6 of the college football season so far. And finally, the NCAA comes out with a ruling today after they had denied him 8 times. Legal action was getting ready to be made. So outside officials and lawyers decided to come in and help this kid out and say, you know what, this is what we're going to do. And they threatened a lawsuit last week. I read the papers. I read the lawyer's statement. It was about 4 pages long, very informative. And he basically said this: I don't want to have to go this route, but you're going to have to make me. And if you do, we will go this way. If you know anything about the NCAA, especially with its history of North Carolina, there was the 7 years of hell that just ended not that long ago. All the legal things. They were trying to bust North Carolina for everything, stating that there was classes that was being done that was BS, all this, that, and the fourth. Outside of that, they basically said normally what they can do is pay themselves out. Pay them out. Hey, we'll just say we can't really help you, but here's a little money to do that. North Carolina wasn't having that. Tez Walker wasn't having that. The family wasn't having that. Props to that kid, by the way, for doing that, for standing up for what's right. Not only that,
good
the
kid.
NCAA finally said, you know what? You win. Here's the statement from the NCAA. So, the NCAA staff received new information regarding University of North Carolina student athlete Tez Walker this week. Staff determined the new information qualifies Walker for a transfer waiver. The information had not been made available by UNC previously. Keep that highlighted, despite the school's multiple chances to do so. End quote. Right here, Charlie Baker, the head of the NCAA, says, it is unfortunate that UNC failed to provide this important information previously. While we must be careful not to compromise a student athlete's right to privacy when it comes to sensitive issues, we want to assure that the Division I membership and everyone watching how the new transfer rules are applied. That this meets the new transfer waiver standards. Also keep that highlighted. UNC's behavior and decision to wage a public relations campaign is inappropriate and outside the bounds of the process UNC's own staff supported. Had the UNC staff not behaved in this fashion and submitted this information weeks ago, this entire unfortunate episode could have been avoided. That is from the NCAA president, Charlie Baker. And also that dude, Jere Moorhead, down there in the University of Georgia, who we all know has legal problems to begin with. They're always in the news because somebody's drunk or having a car wreck. And that's I probably shouldn't be that mean, but honestly, that's the truth. They got a lot of things going down there in Georgia. But let's quickly look at this, and then we're going to get into our show. First off, it said that, let's bring this quote back up. I want to go to our highlighted points. It says here, the new information qualifies Tez Walker for a transfer waiver. The information had not been made available by UNC previously. Let's talk about that information. So there is concepts that have to be met in standards to meet the requirements of a two-time transfer. He was actually going for a mental health transfer. This is what for a mental health crisis. What is the mental health crisis? His grandmother, family. I got a family situation going on right now as it is. I understand this kid. I get it. This guy wants to go home. He wants to be close to family. Who knows what's going to happen with his grandmother? His grandmother's not getting any younger. Who knows? I mean, you hate to say that, but it's true. So first off, you have to meet the requirements. First off, you have to have notes and legal documentation from authorized legal councilmen, basically therapists, things along that nature. You have to have that. You have to have written consent from them. You have to have actual proof there's something going on. So he had to show medical documents from his grandmother, her private information. You have to show that as well. You have to have a letter of recommendation coming in through, which, by the way, Kent State and UNC Central eventually sent in. Kent State sent it immediately. UNC Central followed suit. They did that as well. And there's a couple other little small guidelines you had to meet. Couldn't have had done certain things. It's a whole big snafu, but that kind of briefly brackets everything we're in there. North Carolina provided all of this information 8 times ago. He was denied 8 times. 8 times. 8. This is also the same NCAA, which over the past few weeks, if you've caught notice, has been letting 2-time transfers play for any reason at all. Any reason at all. A few of them. Let's look at number one, the guy out of Colorado, the running back for Colorado right now. 2-time transfer. He was out of school, left, went to Jackson State to go be with Coach Prime. He moves from Jackson State. This happened this offseason, by the way. He moves to Jackson State. Dion accepts the job in Colorado. He transfers again. He was allowed to play. He was in there week 1. When they upset TCU, was a big reason they helped upset TCU.
Wow.
Let's talk about that guy. I mean, we can do this all day. All of that to say this. I'm thankful this kid is finally doing it. I love how NCAA in NCAA fashion will not, and I do repeat, will not take any accountability for what they did. They basically said, oh, if UNC would have done this a long time ago, basically, if UNC would have threatened legal action a long time ago, we would have been fine. Let me just put that in quotes for you. Anyway, thoughts on that, Mr. Torrey?
It's a bowl of baloney, man. That's what I said. When you started reading that and they try to put the blame on UNC, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure they gave you everything they had the first time.
Yeah.
The first
everything
time,
they
buddy.
asked for. Everything they asked for to qualify
the first time.
Right.
Because, I mean, it sounds fishy. I was like, oh, we was missing this information, and now you finally gave it to us. What? Oh, you think we, like, stupid or something? Like, you think that's just going to go over our heads? Yeah. Come on, man. Come on, NCAA. Shame on you. Shame. And then the fact that you're letting all these other ones. I heard of one. Was it Oregon? The other one? Or was it somewhere like West Coast?
Dude, you had them all over the place. NC State got one. Colorado got actually a few. I don't know about the guy in Florida State. I'm wondering if he got allowed as well, which I personally thought he had a case to be allowed as well. Him and Tez Walker both. They were kind of the headstones for this. But there's been a lot, dude, over the past few weeks. Northwestern.
I think the rule. I think that amendment and to the rule at the beginning of the year was hogwash. I don't think they should even try to do that because now you got a blunder of a mess with everybody doing 2-time transfers. So
right,
it's shame on NCAA, man. They dropped the ball on that one. I'm glad that they finally did the right thing.
100%. I'm telling you this right now. Just letting you know, Drake May and Tez Walker are probably going to hook up for a massive gain in the first series against Syracuse. I 100% expect Tez Walker to be booking it down the field, and Drake may go over the top. Maybe even the first snap. I know it's going to happen in the first series. If there's going to be a touchdown pass thrown, I bet you 100% Drake's going to be looking for Tez so much, because I was in that building a couple of weeks ago for the Minnesota game, and a chant broke out, free Tez Walker. That was when his T-shirts come out. His free Tez Walker T-shirts come out that they were doing for NIL purposes to help this kid out. Because Charlie Baker's making money. He's sitting up in an office, chilling out, having a good time up in Indianapolis, having just a great time, collecting, I think, 10, 12, 15 million a year. This kid ain't getting paid jack. The university set this up for him. They set up NIL deals for him. He couldn't go do it. He can't go play. What can he do? He was put on scout team. He was still practicing. And me and Alan, we do the Hill Brothers, and we have talked about this nonstop. And Alan had given up hope, and I always said every single week, every single show, I said something tells me Tez Walker's playing this year. I said I got a feeling. I said it our last show, and I said something. I said because we were talking about the Clemson game and the ACC a little bit. I said something tells me by Clemson, Tez is going to be out there, and that's why I picked a 12-0 season for the Tar Heels. I did. I picked it straight out.
You did.
I said 12-0.
I remember that.
I did.
I remember that. You did. Yeah.
I said all the way through. I said the only game that I think that you could seriously lose, and I put Miami up there now because Miami's looking really good. Now they've played high school teams, but given outside of Texas A&M, which Texas A&M is always a team of low expectations or high expectations, but they always fall. But I said something tells me they're going to get him. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be the difference maker. Boom! I picked a 12-0 season. That's just me. But we do have, by the way, a show to do that we had planned. This was not planned. I threw this in here at the last second. I did. I surprised that on you. Sorry about that, brother. But it needed to be talked about. It absolutely needed to be talked about because it's
absolutely
huge. And the Hill Brothers will be going live shortly after we end here. And we've got a lot to talk about. That is going to be it. Also, we've got to look into this week's matchup against Syracuse. It's going to be fun. But we have NFL to talk about. But we're going to wait a little bit because some news in the association has finally kicked back up. By the way, NBA basketball came back today.
Yeah.
Abu Dhabi games. What was it? The Mavericks and the Timberwolves played today in the preseason games. They have started. They continue from now. I mean, we're back. Basketball's back, dude. We are back. I'm excited, by the way. I'm looking forward to see what this basketball season does purely based in the Eastern Conference. Because a lot of things have happened in the Eastern Conference. Last week, we covered a Damian Lillard trade. We both said, this saga ain't over yet. Sure enough. A trade was made. I'm pulling up now everything that is there. Drew Holiday, as we all know, was a part of the package and the deal that went to the Portland Trailblazers to get Damian Lillard, has been traded once again. He got traded, and then he got traded again. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about Portland's organization right here in just a minute. I want to see if you're on the same brain length I am, just to see where you're at with that. But let's read this trade. So, the Celtics have sent Robert Williams III and guard Malcolm Brogdon in a deal packaged with a 2024 first round pick via Golden State and a 2029 first round pick via it's straight up the Celtics 2029 first round pick going to the Blazers. In return, they get the services of one Drew Holiday. So currently right now, the projected starting lineup for the Boston Celtics is Drew Holiday, Derek White, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and Kristaps Porzingis. Now, the reason I wanted to bring up, and we're going to get into what we think about Milwaukee, Boston, who's better, who has the edge. We'll talk about that in just a second, but I want to say something. I want to look at the Portland organization, the Portland Trailblazers organization. First off, we all know Damian Lillard asked for a trade. We all know that was the case. He asked for a trade, and he wanted to go to Miami. It was very public knowledge that we wanted to do that. You see this stuff happen all the time. Stars ask for trades. 9 times out of 10, you know where they want to go. Just last year, we knew Durant wanted to go to the Suns. We knew that was going to happen. Kyrie, I think, really wanted to go to the Lakers, but it didn't happen that way. So, evidently, Damian Lillard asked for a trade. All the speculation went on for a long time, but he finally said that if a deal couldn't be made, now we didn't know this, but if a deal couldn't be made, he said he wanted to rescind the trade request. GM said no. GM said, bump you. We're going to send you somewhere, and you're going to like it. So they sent him to Milwaukee. Wow, okay, you did him a solid. You went to a contender. But what did they do in return? They got Drew Holiday back. A lot of teams in the league wanted him, but who did they send him to? the one team standing in the Milwaukee Bucks way, the Boston Celtics. So Portland, we gave you your request halfway. You wanted to go to a contender. You wanted to go to Miami. Nah, we'll send you to Milwaukee. Great, right? But guess what? We want that guy, one of their top tier defenders, a top point guard in this league. Let's just call it what it is. Jrue Holiday is a really good point guard in this league. And now we're going to send him within 24 hours to that team that you got to beat. Have fun. See you, Dame.
Wow.
Really? Really? This is a new level of petty. I don't even like Portland Trailblazers anymore. I personally have no respect for that anymore. I don't.
Oh, goodness.
I got to drink. I've been talking so much. Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
What do you think, man? Tell me what you think. What do you think the Portland organization? Have you thought about that yourself, or you maybe don't feel that way? What do you think about the teams? Do we got so much going on? What do you tell me something?
I don't necessarily buy into, they was trying to, send Jrue Holiday to Boston strategically to be in Damian Lillard's way. I think with the trade in, with the deal that was happening, they were just trying to solidify some pieces for Portland, and that was the only way for it to make sense.
Now, I will say this: Portland does look like a pretty solid team with the pieces that they've picked up out of these trades. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's what I'm looking. I mean, you still. I mean, Malcolm Brogdon might be coming off the bench still. I mean, I believe he can start in that squad, but they got some young pieces that I think they're looking to start. But you got Robert Williams and Michael Brogdon come off the bench for Portland. Now you got some depth in Portland. You got some
DeAndre Ayton starting there too, man.
I mean, look at that. So I mean, you might have a solid team. They just don't have that superstar that you got to please in Damian Lillard now. Now they looking like the Denver Nuggets from back in the day when they didn't have a star, but they had all these pieces and they actually went far in the playoffs. That was under what's the coach name? Carl something. Yeah, but they looking solid. I mean, they got Jeremy Grant, of course Scott Henderson, and then you got the like you said, Aiden. And then you got the pieces off the bench. I mean, that's a solid team. If they can get some chemistry going, you might have a problem with the Portland Trailblazers still.
Yeah, I think they put themselves, I think, on the same pace of like the Oklahoma City Thunder, a young team that's a pesty little team, and you got to beat them. You have to go out there and beat them each night. They're not just going to fall down. You got to go beat them, and I mean that's good. I mean, think about it. This might be one of the better Portland teams we've had in a couple of years, even with Dame there, because they do have depth. They've got some significant depth down there. Malcolm Brogdon is a solid shooter. We saw that last year. That's why the Celtics wanted him last year. You saw that. Jeremy Grant just got that big money. I mean, he's solid. He's a good small forward. You really like what he's doing over there. DeAndre Ayton has a chance to go prove himself again with a coach I believe he's really going to get along with Chauncey Billups. I think by the way, that he's got to be absolutely thrilled, by the way. You get that depth in Robert Williams. Robert Williams can rebuild himself because he had garnished the stereotype of being extremely injury prone. And now he can come off the bench, get his body going, get a full season up under his belt. Boom, there you go. You have that. So, I mean, Scoot Henderson being the young stud that he is, that's a solid team over there. They're going to be tough. They're going to be really tough. And I'm looking forward to see what Chauncey Billups. I think the world of Chauncey Billups myself. I like him a lot. I think he's a good dude, real wholesome guy, and I think he really knows how to galvanize the troops. And I think that's exactly what the Portland Trailblazers are going to need. But back on the East Coast, we've got a two-headed monster now in the East Coast. I think that the Miami Heat and Emo Jimmy is going to be taking a few steps back because not only did they lose a lot of their key rotation pieces. Max Strus is one, Gabe Vincent another, but also at the same time, they didn't replenish it for anything. They were waiting on the big trade to hit. Didn't happen. And then they had to go re-sign, what was it, Wayne Ellington or something like that? I mean, he's old, Tar Heel guy, but still he's old.
Oh, come on now. Come on.
Yeah.
He's
I
still
mean,
good.
still he's old, you know. I don't know about it. They don't really have a true point guard outside of Kyle Lowry, but can you trust Kyle Lowry throughout the year? Let's look at the Philadelphia 76ers. Now they finally got James Harden back, and we'll talk more about that in a little bit, but they didn't really add to their team, and they couldn't even get past the second round to begin with. So looks like to me, Boston and Milwaukee. Who's got the edge? Do you like Boston better? Do you like Milwaukee better? What's your thoughts?
I like the Bucks better because they have more depth. Clearly,
Thank you. Thank
they,
you.
they got an all around team, man.
They do.
And they're looking kind of scary. Once you solidify that bench and you got some good players coming off that bench, and you got your superstars in line, you're a hard team to beat. Lakers back in the day when Kobe was winning his championships the second time around, they had the depth. They was a hard team to beat. They had everything. I mean, Golden State Warrior is a team that had everything. That depth, those stars, that coaching, that chemistry, that atmosphere, that culture. The Bucks look like they might have everything together. Boston
Yeah.
Celtics, they don't really have anybody that's dangerous coming off the bench. They really have just like a lot of young players that really didn't produce last season. They just are so. They kind of scorched their bench up a little bit, and so I don't know if they want going to add pieces or do some more moving, but to depend on those 5 stars and then go blank, when they resting, you might not make it. You might end up with the same outcome as you did last season.
Yeah, I look at the Bucks, and I mean, let's just kind of run down the names. So your starting lineup. You're going to have Damian Lillard. You're going to have Pat Connaughton, who's solidified himself as a pretty solid 2 guard. You're going to have Chris Middleton. You're going to have Giannis. You're going to have Brook Lopez. Okay, that's number one. You go to the bench. You pick up a guy like Malik Beasley from the Lakers, a guy that used to shoot the rock very well. Now, when he got to LA, he was having some issues, but used to shoot the rock really well out there in Minnesota. Who's to say he can't revitalize that? You still have Jay Crowder coming off of the bench. By the way, you went out and you still have Bobby Portis. By the way, that's a big name. Let's just keep that mind in there. And then you also went out and got the other Lopez brother, Robin Lopez. That's just another one. This is a solid team. Basically, all they did is they took their team from last year, got rid of Grayson Allen, the Duke guy that wants to kick everybody, inserted Malik Beasley, who I think is going to be a better, grittier shooting guard coming off the bench, more reliable as well. And then they took Drew Holiday and swapped him out for Damian Lillard. Now, let's not crap on Drew Holiday here. Drew Holiday is a very solid guard. Very solid guard.
Don't forget about don't forget about Cameron Payne. He's on there too.
Oh yeah, I forgot about them picking up Cameron Payne. Forgot about them doing that. So there you go. There's another point guard, a guy who's played in the finals. He's played in the finals with the Suns a couple years ago. Completely. They just made that deal the other day too. I forgot all about that. But at the same time,
that's scary.
It is. At that same time, Drew Holiday. Now you're going to miss the defense of Drew Holiday because that man is really good defensively. Very good defensively. Very good. But at that same time, you don't depend on Drew Holiday to go out there and get you 30. He can. He has the ability. He's shown that a few times last year, especially for the Bucks. There's a couple of times he did it when they needed it. Great. He's not the guy you depend on to do that. He's going to be your defensive guard over there. Now, I'm curious to see what that matchup's going to be like, Dame versus Drew. That's going to be fun. It's going to be very fun to see. But I think over there with Brad Stevens, with that new coach over there who Joe Mazzulla, you see Joe Mazzulla really coming out in this, where he's not a defensive guy. He's an offensive guy. You see that. He mentioned that multiple times. They would ask him defensive questions, and he would answer with offensive answers. This is where you're seeing that transition. Ime Udoka is a lot different. Very curious to see how he does with the Houston Rockets this year, by the way, as well. We'll see how that goes. But you're seeing a difference here. Now, keep in mind, new head coach, everything, a culture reset, if you will, coming to Milwaukee this year. Giannis seems to be pumped up. The team seems to be pumped up, seems to be very excited. If they can stay healthy, and I really mean Chris Middleton here, really I mean him. If they can stay healthy, they're my pick to get out of the East. They are. I like them. Doesn't mean the Boston Celtics can't upset them. I think they could. But at the same time, I'm going to put my chips on that team just because they've got, let's just say the matchup. The Bucks have two of the top three best players in that series. You can go Giannis, Tatum, Damian. Two of the top three. Give me that team. And they've got the more complete team. Give me that team. I like them. Now,
Yes, sir.
let's talk some James Harden and the Philadelphia 76ers. We're going to hit them really quickly. This is going to be fun because the saga of James Harden has been one that has spanned years at this point in time. Starting all the way back in, 21? 21, I think he went from the Houston Rockets to the Brooklyn Nets. Wanted to go there to play with KD, Kyrie, win a championship. They got there. Injuries happened. COVID happened. So everything was a little bit more iffy there. You don't know what's really going to go on. Then on top of it, he wants to get out because of certain things. Kyrie will not want to take a vaccine, this, that, and the fourth. He goes to Philadelphia, stinks up the joint first year, or the first half of it. He only played like half a year there. Got into the playoffs, stunk it up against Miami. They got bumped out in the second round. Comes back this past year. Oh, the 76ers, they're going on a little bit of a run here. Here we go. Looking good. Joel Embiid finally gets his MVP. And once again, Harden kind of just wasn't that good. Now, it did put two 40-point games up against the Boston Celtics. They were up 3-2 in the series and lost it. Had a chance at home in Game 6. Lost it. Back-to-back poor performances by James Harden and also Joel Embiid. You can't give him off. You can't take him off the hook. So you have to look at that. All the chips falling there. But this offseason comes. He announces, I want to trade. Not only do I want to trade, I don't like that Daryl Morey dude. Yeah, that dude, the guy that got me out of Oklahoma City, the guy that brought me to Houston, the guy that rubbed my back, scratched my feet, did everything for me that I wanted to do, sent me to the strip club whenever I wanted to, let me go to Miami bars while we're playing Miami and doing all this stuff in the middle of a playoff run all by myself when I'm not supposed to. The guy that let me do anything I wanted to do, that guy, yeah, I don't like him no more. He's a liar. I don't ever want to be a part of his organization. Bump him. I'm out. I want to go to the Clippers. He doesn't go to the Clippers. He's back at practice. Torrey, your thoughts? Your thoughts, sir?
To me, everything he's done up until this point is kind of childish. Just you're acting like
Amen.
A child now.
Amen.
You want this? No, I want that. They've set you up. They gave you money, and then when finally stuff doesn't go your way. First off, you didn't perform well when you should have, but when stuff doesn't go your way, now you blow up. Oh, you didn't get me to this team. You didn't give me the deal I needed. Oh, this, that, and the third. Oh, I hate you. You're worst GM. I never want to be with you. Acting like a child, man. Just for you to go back and, I'm in practice. Oh, I'm doing the drills now. I'm in practice now. I'm doing drills and stuff. I'm with the team. We're. I'm just gonna just be with the team now. You did all that for nothing.
Missed media day and came back the next day for practice. Go ahead.
Come on, man. You better win a championship. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. You better cap it off with a championship, buddy. Because if you don't, your career is nearing the end, man. If you don't win a championship, man, they're gonna ship you off themselves, man. No doubts about it.
I think he's got 2 years left.
As far as the NBA period?
No, not as far as NBA, but I'm talking about being a viable starter. 2 years.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a tough task to try to put him on the bench. I don't think he's going to go to the bench voluntarily. I think he's going to have a bad season for him to get put on the bench. I mean, if he's producing, then it's going to hard. He's going to have to go to a team that's going to let him start, basically, until you have that bad season. And I mean, a lot of stars went through that. Allen Iverson, he had the bad season and he went spiraling down. Carmelo had a bad season and he started that spiral. So, you know, he's still producing. He can still put up those points. He's still valuable. To the offense until that day comes. He's going to start. And like you said, 2 years left. I probably agree. 2 years. 2 years left. Mm-hmm.
That's all I got for the association today. You got anything you want to add about the NBA? I know we got just a couple of weeks and then everything will be back.
Speaking of 76ers, your boy Embiid is joining the Olympic team for the 2024
Olympics?
Olympics.
Hit that.
Yeah, man.
Dude.
Yeah. That's good stuff.
So how soon is it before LeBron, Steph, KD? I think KD's actually already committed. So when is it? So what happens? When is it finally going to be LeBron and Steph? When do they finally commit? I think it's just a matter of days.
Yeah, it's a matter of days. The media has been covering it, talking about it, that they're going to commit. They're going to commit. They've done talked about it. Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Might as well, you know, KD, Joel Embiid, and who's the fifth guy? Steph, LeBron, Embiid, KD. Who else is on there?
I thought it was Tatum.
Tatum. Yes, that's correct. Tatum. Yeah, I think it's Tatum. Yeah. Yeah, they're going to commit, man. Might as well, man. After we got beat by Germany, we're not going to throw that team into the whole shebang, like the real stuff, the real one. Yeah, you got to get your best players out the NBA and do it for real.
Yeah, and honestly, the Lakers and the Warriors play a preseason game either tomorrow or Saturday. Wouldn't surprise me if it happens there.
Yeah.
Perfect time.
Yeah, that's great. That'd be great, dude.
Yeah, so right now it's looking like Steph, KD, Devin Booker, Bradley, Bill, LeBron, Anthony Davis, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown. Bam. All these guys. God bless the other people in the world, man. Golly. This is honestly, think about this. This is probably the last time we get a stacked roster like that. Think about that.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
It's like Nick Fury, like Braun is Nick Fury calling the Avengers. Yeah, I know, dude. It's gonna be so sad when these guys are gone. I'm telling you. Like, it's gonna be so sad. But let's talk about some fun that we had this past Sunday. We had all kinds of football games this past Sunday. We got a lot of picks in, but we'll get to how we did last week, you know, and how we've looked overall over the season so far going into this is week 5. As a matter of fact, the Commanders and the Bears are playing right now as we speak. The Bears are up 7-0. Started out the games, I think, first possession. The Bears go out and get a touchdown. Anyway, so let's start. The Colts and the Rams. Now, I love the Rams. The Rams are a good team, I think. But one thing they do love providing is a heart attack and a half. So they go up. They were up 20-21 or something to 0. And the game went to overtime against the Colts. Love them to death. Now, thankfully, they won 29-23. But all I'll say is Stafford looks great. By the way, he got somewhat injured in this game. He was banged up. They are playing the Eagles this week, so he said he will be playing against the Eagles. One thing I'll say, Puka Nacua is that dude. Guy he is definitely league leader, if I could speak words, in the Rookie of the Year race. My opinion, this kid's doing. When Cooper Kupp won the Triple Crown a couple of years ago when we won the championship, in his first 4 games, Puka Nacua is actually beating those stats right now as we speak. This dude's a rookie. The guy that won the Triple Crown a couple of years ago, When in projection of his year, Puka Nacua is beating him all the way right now. If he was to continue on the way he's going right now, he would win the Triple Crown. Think about that for a second. A rookie out of BYU who was hurt last year, taken in the 5th round rookie guy. Don't tell me those 5th and 6th and 7th round draft picks don't make a difference. What pick was Tom Brady?
Wasn't he like 6 or something? 6th round?
Yeah, he was a 6th or a 7th rounder. I think he was a 7th rounder. 7th rounder. Yeah, think about that for a second.
Look at my guy Brock Purdy, the last guy that was drafted, and he's doing wonderful right now.
All right,
he's like number 1 right now, quarterback in the NFL right now.
Yeah, in QBR, he actually is number 1 in QBR right now. Let's move on to another game that happened overseas. Jaguars and the Falcons. I'm gonna let you take the reins on this one. The next one after that is Dolphins and Bills. I have to do one thing. I'm gonna give you the screen. You take it from here. All right, Jags and Falcons. Tell me how you like it.
Well, I picked the Falcons when we had our pick, and of course the Jaguars beat them down in good fashion. Trying to pull up my stats right here, but I had picked the Falcons just coming off of a couple of the games that they had that they really look good in, especially Bijan Robinson. He's touted to be a good running back in the NFL. That a lot of analysts are talking good about him, but they dropped the ball over there in London. Jaguars are looking like the team from last season. They just had a great game or whatever, and I think you said Miami was next against the Buffalo Bills, but they went to London and they played. They had a 9:30 game. East Coast time was 9:30, so of course in London they're probably maybe 6 or 7 hours ahead or something like that, maybe less. And so you got to view the game at 9:30 in the morning on the East Coast side. And I mean, the stadium was packed, of course, and you got like, I mean, NFL, NBA, NFL is worldwide, dude. So you had a lot of fans. You had Falcon fans and Jaguar fans that was overseas, which is kind of crazy. But they put on a good game. Falcons feel really short. I'm trying to pull up the game stats, but my computer is acting up, man. Crazy. But the Falcons fell really short. I think the game was like 26-7 or something like that, which is crazy. But
23-7, good sir.
23-7, which is crazy. And I picked the Falcons coming. You know, I like to see the games that, you know, the prior and Falcons was touted to, you know, progress and do really good, but I guess it was they was jet lag or something, because they look piss poor.
I think what it is personally, I think the Jaguars finally said, you know what, I've had enough. We've been screwed around and beaten like we shouldn't have, and we're tired of playing this way. And they're having a super cool game on the Toy Story broadcast, which was very cool, by the way. That was awesome. That was awesome. That was really cool. But they need to do that some more stuff like that. Do one in like SpongeBob or something. That'd be awesome. But yeah, so I thought that was good.
That's cool, man.
Next up, the Dolphins and the Bills. I don't think we really expected this.
No.
I know we didn't, because we both picked the Dolphins. I'm looking at it right now. Boy, the Bills showed that they're the dogs. Josh Allen, not a single pick. Josh Allen played great. Played amazing. The defense is real. They get Von Miller back now. Von Miller's coming back. That dude's going to be pretty cool. I mean, he's going to be pretty good. Von Miller, I think he's a pretty all right football player. What about you? I think he's all right.
He's all right. I mean, he does have a Super Bowl.
Two of them.
Two, yeah. Question, does this tell you more about where Miami's at, or does that tell you more about where Broncos at? You know, Broncos lost to Miami 70 to what, 20? And then they lose to Bills 40-20. So is this more telling for more? Is it tell you more about the Broncos and their problems, or does it tell you that, hey, Miami's just hasn't measured up to the real good, the better of the NFL? They're just, you know, it's a measuring stick for Miami, or that's just how bad Broncos was?
The Broncos are bad. What I'll say is I learned some things about Miami in this game. They're good, but there's definitely a learning curve coming right now. Like, there's a learning curve right now for Tua. This is the hardest team they faced so far. It's a pretty daggum good team in the Buffalo Bills. They've been trying to go all in over the past couple of seasons themselves, especially last year. Last year was supposed to be their year, and things just did not measure up for them at all. Now, injuries on the defensive side of the ball, the thing that happened with DeMar Hamlin, you can't discount any of that stuff as well. So emotional rattlings there. Josh Allen having some issues, but it seems like something's up under Josh Allen's skin this year already. He's played really well. I mean, this dude's playing some amazing football. Stephon Diggs, they're ready. They're ready, man. They're ready to push through and win something. And they proved it. They said, you know what? This is at Orchard Park. The Miami Dolphins are being talked about. Nobody's talking about us. Let's go shut them down. And they proved, the guys they went out and got, they proved why they're there. And they're getting guys back. That's the thing. They're playing good football. Now, it's also, are the Buffalo Bills playing their best football? You don't want to be playing your best football right now. You want to be learning. Oh, we got things to clean up. Oh, we got things to clean up. Oh, we got things to clean up. So, that's what I worry about with certain teams like the Philadelphia Eagles last year, the San Francisco 49ers starting out this year. Seems like everything's just going perfect. Like, oh, man, they're putting their best performances in each week. This isn't the time you want to be peaking. You want to be peaking towards that week 15, 16, getting into the postseason, getting ready. That's when you want to be playing your peak football. That's when any team wants to be playing their peak games, right? Because you're supposed to be getting the kinks out throughout the year. People are trying to figure you out, but maybe don't have you quite down yet because I learned this new thing. So I don't know. We'll see how the teams are doing, but I do like the Buffalo Bills right now. They just got to keep this momentum, and they started out hot last year. Let's keep that in mind. Week 1 against the Rams, opening night, that Thursday night, the championship celebration, they come out and blew us out at our home in LA. They continued on playing great. We saw what happened in the back half of that year. So we got to see consistency from the Bills. The Broncos, we know, are horrible, but they're not as bad as the Bears, which is our next game, the Broncos and the Bears. Bears had a big lead. I thought they was finally going to get their first win. I thought we were both going to be wrong in this game. Nope, we come out right because in the back half of the third quarter into the fourth quarter, Broncos come back and win this game 31-28. Which does this tell you more about, the Broncos or the Bears?
It tells me more about the Bears.
They're bad, bro.
Justin Fields can be a good player. I mean, he reads some of the right plays. It's just when there's trouble, when he gets in trouble, is he making the right decisions when he's getting pressured? Sometimes he's missing throws, and sometimes, a lot of these quarterbacks in this season alone have gotten pressured and just threw picks. Josh Allen, Bengals quarterback, the Macaulay Culkin dude. God, goodness. What's the quarterback? Bengals for the quarterback for the Bengals.
Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he threw picks, being pressured. Russell Wilson. I mean, a lot of these quarterbacks, when they get pressure, when the O-line fails, they start throwing picks, man. If he can overcome the pressure and string together consistent plays, solid plays, get out of the pocket and use your legs like you're supposed to, when at the right time, you can actually have a good game. You might be on actually, you might win a game or two at this point if you was doing that kind of thing. I believe they can win tonight.
Well, we're going to pick that game right here in just a minute, even though it's currently going on as we speak. They are up 10-0. We're going to quickly go through this one. Ravens, Browns. Does it say a lot about the Ravens or the Browns here? 28-3, the Ravens win.
And had a great game, had a great last game, and then they just fell short. Defense fell short. Offense, Deshaun Watson, I think he had some problems coming into the game. But
yeah,
I mean, it was like a switch got flipped, and they started looking like the Browns from 2 or 3 years ago, man.
Yeah, so evidently something was going on with him, and I believe the rookie quarterback played. He was 19 of 36, 121 yards, 3 interceptions. So yeah, that doesn't help you at all.
Yeah.
Ravens, top team in the AFC right now?
No, they're not.
I'm not
so
agree with there.
I'm not sold.
I'm not either. Quickly, let's talk about this game really quick. The Texans and the Steelers, 30-6. The Texans win. CJ Stroud and this team, D'Amico Ryans is doing a great job.
Yeah,
a great job. Kind of curious how he was going to do a defense. We've saw this story before. Robert Saleh, a guy under the Kyle Shanahan tree, a defensive coordinator there, moves to the Jets. Jets have been kind of iffy. They finally get Aaron Rodgers, only get him for 4 plays. Now you see the situation they're in now. So you're kind of curious about another defensive guy leaving once again, going to a team. Here we go. Are they going to get out good? Are going to get out fine? I mean, is it going to be bad? The first couple of games there, they get that first opening molly-whopping by the Ravens 25-9. Then the Colts come into Houston. They get beat 31-20. Then they beat the Jags. Now they beat the Steelers. Next week they got the Falcons. What do you think about the Texans, dude?
Finally, they actually go out there and actually win the game. Last season they was like 1 or 2 for 13 or 14 games. To start out your season with a few wins, solid wins. I mean, against the Jaguars, that's supposed to be last season supposed to be the breakout season. I think that's a lot to do with the coaching. I think that's a lot to do with the coaching staff, getting these guys ready, getting these guys prepared. Had one bad game, but the other games were decent. The 2 wins and the one that they lost was really decent. So I think I picked the Steelers, but they, with Pickens going down like that,
we both did.
It's like the backup quarterback has no clue. It's like
not only that, but whoop. Matt Canada needs to get going in Pittsburgh. I understand he was a good offensive coordinator for Ben Roethlisberger, but you got a better dude right now than Big Ben at that time. So it's time to get Matt Canada up out of there, and the Steelers need something. Vikings, Panthers. The Panthers looked promising, and I told you not to pick them. I did. I really did. I said don't do it to yourself. Vikings come out with a win. It did look like the Panthers were going to get it, but then they just let it happen, let it slip. And I think the Vikings needed that. The Vikings definitely needed. This is a team that hadn't won a game yet. They got theirs, 21-13. We'll see how it goes. The game that surprised the crap out of me the most, the Bucs and the Saints. Holy smokes.
Yeah.
26-9, the Buccaneers come out and win. Tampa Baker is for real. That dude is for real. And I like it.
He's done this twice before. Start off good at the beginning of the season. Starts great. And then he takes a dive, man. So I'm not sold on it yet, man. I'm not sold. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. He's good. He can play quarterback for just about most teams in the NFL. But it's something that happens mid-season toward the end that he just doesn't have his helmet on straight for whatever reason. But jury's still out. I'm still looking, man, and I hope he has a solid season.
I think there's something here playing in his favor. The Bucks aren't expected to do anything.
That's true.
The Browns always expected to do something.
Yeah.
When he got there, the Browns were expected to do this, do that, especially when they went all out and, got all the defensive players that they did. They have a great defense and a pretty solid offense. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. You had the wide receivers. You picked up Odell Beckham Jr. You had, what's that one kid's name? Daggum. I can't think of it right now. Amari Cooper, I think it was. Yeah, was it Amari Cooper? I believe it was.
Yeah.
Actually. So you had those guys. You're like, oh, heck, here we go. And nothing ever happened of it. All the expectation, all the pressure was there. He doesn't have that. Then he goes to the Rams. I mean, they wasn't expected to do much themselves. He had a good couple of games, but I mean, the offensive line was so bad you couldn't do anything with it anyway. This Buccaneers team still has pieces from when one guy named Tom Brady was there. So, I mean, everybody thought they were just going to tank and do whatever, but no, he's coming out and playing well. I like it. We'll see how it goes. What do you think about the Commanders' effort against the Eagles last week, dude? Almost had them beat, man. Sam Howell's a dude.
Had them. And, I was about to pick Commanders last week.
I wanted to do it too, but I just couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it either. I thought about it, but man, that was a great effort. They're talking about Riverboat Run. Job is on the line, man. And I mean that tells you right there, man. That's great coaching. That's coaching, man. To come out with a game plan and actually compete against a solid team, top team in the NFL. That's great, man. You got to give kudos to Commanders, even though they lost in overtime, man.
Yeah, man. Sam Howell was really, had 4 interceptions the week before, comes out, plays great. This dude's just showing out. And also, I think we're starting, maybe with, you look at a guy like Tom Brady, low pick in the draft, really low pick in the draft. I mean, like we said, 6th, 7th round. And then you look at Brock Purdy, last pick in the draft. Here he is playing great. Guy named Sam Howell, who was supposed to be a Heisman contender, gets dropped all the way down because of a bad UNC offensive line, by the way. Which I guess kind of helps in Sam Howell's favor right now because he's used to that. But drops to the 5th round. These guys are playing great football. I mean, amazing and great football right now. They're playing big time. I think now maybe the jury is out. Maybe the guy at the top might not be as glamorous as maybe there is some other guy that's played. Not only that, Brock Purdy and Sam Howell, what do they have in common when it comes to college? They both played a lot of games and started a lot of games multiple years in college. They're experienced. They understand this thing. They understand this game a little bit. Sam Howell had 3 years. Brock Purdy had 4. These guys know what they're doing. So maybe you want that guy that's a little bit more experienced than the guy that's not. Also, not only that, but guys that's been faced with adversity. North Carolina had bad offensive lines. We've said that. Was it Iowa State? Yeah, Iowa State, where Brock Purdy was, they weren't the best. They were not world beaters. These guys aren't coming out of Alabama, Clemson, USC, Ohio State. They're not coming out of that. So they have to learn and play through a lot of adverse situations that maybe you're not quite ready for. And some of these guys that go to these top tier schools don't get hit with as much when they're going into these top tier programs where they're pretty much out of 9 to 10 games a season, they're just able to blow everybody out. Boom, we're good. Then you got a couple of those hard ones. Then you get into the playoffs. Then you have some similar talent there, but you take 4 games, maybe 5 games out of a season instead of all 12.
Yeah.
For a guy like a Sam Howell and a Brock Purdy, there's a difference there. There's a difference in mindset and understanding like, oh crap, okay, the situations, I got to make a play, or this needs to happen, or I need to get the ball out quick, or I got to look and get through all of my reads. It's awesome the way these guys have been able to do, and I'm loving that a guy like Brock Purdy and Sam Howell and Tom Brady way back when now was able to step out of the shoes and say, hey, just because I'm not a first-round pick doesn't mean I'm not going to come out here and sling this football all over you. I love it. Loving this thing. I'm loving the way this team's looking with Sam Howell. I think they're going to be great. Quickly, we're going to run through these really quick, and then we're going to get on to this week's picks. Titans and the Bengals. Titans win 27-3. Not good. Not good.
Come on, Macaulay Culkin. Come on, man. Guy.
Yeah, Burrow and the team is not looking good. There is definitely some animosity in there. Titans needed to win that game. The Bengals honestly needed to win that game too, and they are not setting themselves up for a good situation for the rest of the year. Chargers and the Raiders. What do you think about the Chargers? Chargers good?
Yeah, man. The last 2 games for the Chargers have been solid. They're looking like from last season when they had a good end of the season, and Justin Herbert, solid, man. I mean, he's doing good. No, not a lot of attention goes to that team, but you got to look at them, man.
Yeah, they've been like the redheaded stepchild of the NFL for a long time now.
Right.
Then you got the Cowboys and the Patriots. Cowboys getting that win 38-3. Are we getting close to the end of the Bill Belichick era?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. I was thinking about that when I was looking at the game, getting a butt cut. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, Belichick, man. Done, buddy. That's it, man. Goodness.
And Mac Jones is not the guy. Now, the Patriots and the Chargers did just make a trade for cornerback J.C. Jackson to head back to the New England Patriots where he had originally came from. Now, I think this is also kind of curious because there's a current warrant for an arrest for J.C. Jackson in Massachusetts. So I wonder if this has to do anything with that because he missed a court date on something. Don't know what the situation is, but I wonder if that has any correlation together to get that man home and get him in court the way he should have been. Let's move on to your 49ers and the Cardinals, 35-16. The Niners put up another 30-point performance. Cardinals put up a little bit more than I thought they would. 16. Yeah. That's pretty solid. The Cardinals are a team that they're like how we was describing the Oklahoma City Thunder and how the Portland Trailblazers would be this year. Real pesky little team. They just don't want to. You got to go beat them.
You got to be careful.
Yeah, they're a team that you can just end up beating you. Then we saw that Sunday night game, Chiefs and the Jets. Stop here for a second. Zach Wilson. Congratulations, dude. You had a great game. Now, here's the thing. 2 things I took out of that. First off, how many weeks has it been since week 1 now? This will be the 4th week? Yeah, this will be the 4th week since week 1. So Aaron Rodgers tore his Achilles 4 weeks ago. He's already walking on crutches, which you're not supposed to do that for a long time, by the way. And he's out there on the field. He throws a football. Kind of gives a little head nod like, maybe this dude will be back this year. Wouldn't surprise me. Cam Akers did this a couple of years ago. The year the Rams won the championship. He came back in 4.5 months. 4.5. A running back. The guy who takes bulk of the snaps, gets hit all the time, is always being held and pressure being put on his legs and his tendons and everything. That guy, yeah, he came back in 4.5 months. Aaron Rodgers, quarterback, is looking good. Zach Wilson, though, story of the game. Technically, are you ready for this? Are you ready for these stats? Statistically, in a head-to-head with Patrick Mahomes, Zach Wilson is the only player to outduel Patrick Mahomes. Think about that for a minute. Ever. We're talking Tom Brady. We're talking Josh Allen. We're talking Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, Aaron Rodgers. We're talking all these guys.
Yeah.
Statistically, he did better than every single one of them and beat Patrick Mahomes. If Swifties around the world are going to believe this Zach Wilson guy is better than that Patrick Mahomes kid, think about that. 2-time champion, Patrick Mahomes. Not as good as Zach Wilson in some people's eyes now. Swifties around the world. God bless America.
You're lying.
Oh my God. Now, what I will say is for Zach Wilson, number 1, he needed that. Number 2, that amps up the team. Number 3, now he's shown I can throw the football. I can do that. I can be accurate. And it kind of felt like he just went out there with the bump it. I'm going to go try and win this football game. Now, he did make a couple of mistakes, fumbled that last snap and everything. I understand that. So, you got to ease him out just a little bit. Seem like he's a little bit still tight in those situations like that in crunch time. So we'll see how that goes. But I like it. I like what the kid's doing. Hopefully he comes out this week. I don't remember who exactly they play this week. The Jets have the Broncos, so they definitely should win that game. That's in Denver. So yeah. Should win that game. I like them. I think they're good. Chiefs have got some questions. They've got some questions there. Offensive talent, I will say. especially that wide receiver spot. The game of Monday night. Seahawks and the Giants.
That was the worst game I've ever seen. Like for a team. Like the worst played game.
It's horrible.
You had Giants fans they sitting there like, what is going on? They just started leaving, man. That's ridiculous.
Did it tell you more about the Seahawks or the Giants?
Tell me more about the Giants, man. I knew Seahawks put around 20-something. I knew they was going to do that.
They're a solid team.
Giants would have gave them more of a play than that. That's Daniel Jones is the most overpaid player I've ever seen in my life.
And he's from Duke.
How are you just making boneheaded decisions and you getting paid $160 million, man? What in the world is going on? I mean, the head coach was looking at him like, dude, what are you doing? he just like
he threw the iPad. He threw the Microsoft Surface thing. He threw it.
I mean, I would have threw it too, man. Like, this is ridiculous, man. And then the offensive line is a joke. I mean, this is crazy, man.
Yeah, there's some questions that's going to be asked.
Yeah, and I picked the Giants.
Yeah, so speaking of picks, it is now that part of the show here where we talk. By the way, the Chicago Bears are up 17-0 right now in the second quarter. I just want to see what some stats are here. Sam Howell's only got to throw the ball once. He's 1 of 1. That's awesome.
Wow.
Justin Fields already has 156 yards tonight. 9 of 13. Wow, that's pretty cool. So quickly, we're going to run down last week, how we did last week. So coming into last week, Torrey sat at 19-14 overall, and I sat at 18-15 coming into last week. Now, after this week, we're going to talk about the week stats. Torrey went 6 of 9. So quickly reading his list, he had the Colts when they lost to the Rams. He had the Falcons. They lost to the Jags. He had the Dolphins. Obviously, they lost as well to the Bills. We both had the Broncos there as they got a dub. The Browns, unfortunately, as they took that loss. Pitt, as they took a loss. Panthers, as they took a loss. The Saints, as they took a loss. The Eagles, which they got the win. The Bengals, unfortunately, a loss. But he did get the Chargers, the Cowboys, the 49ers, the Chiefs, which are all wins, and then unfortunately was wrong on the Giants pick. He was 6 of 9 last week. Overall, actually, you know what? Yeah, you're 25-23 on the season so far. Not a bad, still above 500. It's pretty daggum good. This was a good week for me, thank God, because the previous week we had tied at 8-8 in our thing there, and like I said, you had the lead on me coming into the week, but I did have the Rams and the Jags that got the win. I'll list the wins. I'll list the losses. I got the Rams, the Jags, the Broncos, the Vikings, the Bucks, Eagles, Chargers, Cowboys, 49ers, Chiefs, Seahawks. Those are all my right ones. My wrong ones, obviously, was the Dolphins, the Browns, Pittsburgh, and the Bengals, which all of those, all the ones that I picked, we tied on. We both got wrong. I like that. I was 11 of 4 of the week. I'm 29-19 coming in to week 5. Week 5 is technically already started. The Bears are up 17-0. Do we count this game right now?
Yeah.
Considering you want to count it?
Yeah, because, I mean, Bears was up and still lost. So, I mean, if you want to pick the Commanders, you've been more than well to, hey, pick the Commanders, man. You never know. But I had the mind to pick the Bears anyway, because they need a win, man, and I'm thinking they can get this win.
You're gonna roll with the Bears. I am gonna roll with the Commanders.
Yes, sir.
I know the chips are down right now, but I am going to run the Commanders.
Oh, man.
So,
That means nothing in the NFL. Chips, you might be down 30-0. You can come back from that.
Yeah, so hopefully they can keep that thing rolling. All right, moving into the rest of the games. All right, starting off with the Eagles and the Rams in LA. Eagles favored by 4.
Eagles, for me, fly high, baby.
I look at the Eagles and what happened last week against the Commanders. Close call. And they showed a lot of deficiencies. I will say Cooper Kupp is back this week. Puka Nacua has been going crazy. Puka Nacua is doing amazing. I like the way this defense is playing for the Rams. They do have a problem of giving up games in the end, but I think this week at home they need to make a statement. They come out and they take the Eagles down, and I think the Eagles are due a loss. They're due one. They've been playing too sloppy. I think they're due one. I think this is the one they get. All right, fun game. 9:30 a.m. This is also playing. Dang, Jacksonville's playing 2 overseas games.
Yeah, man. They won one. They got
Tottenham. Is that Germany?
it says London.
London. I'm sorry. Wow. Okay. Jaguars and the Bills. I'm going to go first on this. I'm going to pick the Jaguars. First off, they've been in London for a little while, and they're used to that time zone. Give me the Jags.
I'm going with the Bills, man. I think they're gonna thrive off that win over Miami. I think they kind of got it now. What they need to do, they know what they need to do. They know not to make those mistakes. Give me the Bills.
All right, the Titans taking a trip up to Indianapolis to face the Colts. Tennessee favored just by 2.5. What do you think?
Give me the Titans. I like how Derrick Henry has been playing out of his mind the last 2 games. Give me the Titans, man. I like the way they're looking right now. They're getting their mojo back.
Jonathan Taylor finally comes back for the Colts this week. I like the Colts, man. I think they got a good groove going on over there.
Cool.
Anthony Richardson really found something against the Rams last week. I'm not gonna lie, like he's starting to scare me a little bit. They've got a great receiving core. You get Jonathan Taylor back, and their backup running back has been playing really well too. Me and you both on the opposite side for the first 4 here,
Yeah.
but we go to Foxborough, and I think me and you both are going to agree on this one. The Saints take on the Patriots. I'm going to take the Saints. Patriots are not that good. They're having a lot of issues. I like the Saints and what they're doing, but I know they had a bad week last week, but give me the Saints.
Give me. Go ahead and give me the Saints, man. I can't trust those Pats, man, at all. Can't trust the Pats.
Yeah, no joke. They are looking quite rough. Should be a interesting game. By the way, that Saints Patriots game is even. It literally says even.
Yeah.
It's toss them, pick them, you know. Ravens on the road against Pittsburgh and the Steelers. What do you think?
Give me the
Ravens are favorite.
Give me the Steelers haven't been on that, man. Give me the Ravens.
I like the Ravens myself, actually. I just think they're too good. Matt Canada has not figured out anything yet. Now, the defense is going to be pretty solid for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but still.
Yeah.
This is going to be a fun one. Texans on the road against the Falcons. Given the Texans and the role they're on, back-to-back wins after back-to-back losses, give me the Texans, man. I like it. I'm believing in D'Amico Ryans and CJ Stroud in the crowd.
I like the Texans too, man. They done showed me something. They done showed me something. Give me the Texans.
I like them. This should be an interesting one. Panthers on the road to Detroit to face the Lions. The Lions are favored by 10.
Lions.
I'm going the Lions as well.
This year. Wow, they're actually looking good. Like, you know, all this hope stuff and oh yeah, get it, Lion Detroit. No, they're actually being like legitimate. They're legitimate, man.
They're a solid team. Ooh. I feel bad for these guys. I'm just going to go ahead and pick the Dolphins here.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. Yeah, give me the Dolphins, man.
Yeah, New York Giants, that is, heading down to Miami to face a Dolphins team who's going to be extremely pissed off. They're favored by 12. Both of us are taking the Dolphins.
Yes, sir.
Which, by the way, if we continue to do, pick the same picks, we will actually tie up overall right now. Because the only 4, let's say if I lose all of my 4, we will be tied right now. That's how it looks. Because we're tying up. All right. Bengals also on the road to the Arizona Cardinals. Cincinnati is favored by 3. I'll let you hit that one.
Yeah. I think I picked the Bengals last time, and they are something's amiss is going on, man, with Burrow, man. Burrow and the whole team is just missing it, man. Give me the Cardinals because Cardinals are the pesky little team that might not go away, man. Give me the Cardinals. Uh-oh. He believes in Burrow, man. He believes Burrow could pull it back together, man.
I just want to read you some stats. This is Joe Burrow and Joshua Dobbs on passing yards right now. Currently, right now, Joe Burrow sits at 87 to 151 in completion rate. 87 completed off 151 throws. Joshua Dobbs has also 87 completed passes on 123 tries. 728 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions for Joe Burrow. 814 yards, 4 touchdowns for Joshua Dobbs. They're beating them in receiving yards and also rushing yards. Both teams 1-3. You're on the road. God, I want to pick the Bengals so bad.
Go ahead, man. Do it. If that's how you feel, that's what you do.
The Bengals are definitely favored in this game. Actually, by a nice, solid little margin here.
Go ahead.
Give me the Cardinals.
Yes, sir. Cardinals. Let's do it. Play it safe, baby.
That Cardinals team is a team. I mean, this team beat a defense like the daggum Dallas Cowboys. Supposed to be one of the best defenses in the league, and put 16 up on the 49ers squad at home. I mean, I'll give them credit there. I like them. Now, I could definitely see the Bengals winning that game. I could see that being a revenge game for them, saying, what, here we go, but something ain't right. And I think it's just that injury to that calf has really hurt and hindered Joe Burrow. It's really hindered him really bad.
He's still on one leg right now.
Yeah, I feel bad for him. Jets on the road to the Denver Broncos. Both teams are 1-3. Denver is favored by 2.5. I'm going to go with the Jets.
Give me Jets, baby. Zach Wilson all day. Let's go, baby. Zach.
Dude, we are tied outside of the first 4 games right now, like all of us. Like, this is crazy. Ooh, this should be a fun one. Kansas City staying on the road, going up to Minnesota to face the Vikings. Kansas City favored by 3.5. What do you think?
Give me Chiefs, man. Come on now. Stop playing.
Yeah, I'm taking the Chiefs too. Even though I do believe that the Vikings may potentially have a chance to win this game in the fourth quarter. I do.
I mean, I hope that they do. I hope they do. I hope they, put out the Chiefs fire, man. But most likely, Chiefs gonna win.
Yeah, I see Chris Jones making a big play at the end of the game to win the game for him, to finish out the game for him, to just keep to sack Kirk Cousins or disrupt him enough to have to throw the ball away or something. This is going to be a fun one. Cowboys and the 49ers in San Francisco. San Francisco favored by 4. I think this is the lowest margin right now of a favor. These two teams have had a couple of storied games over the past couple of years, primarily in the playoffs. Tell me, Mr. Torrey, what do you think?
The 49ers are the best team in the NFL right now. Even though Cowboys say they have the number 1 defense, they haven't played a team like the 49ers that with the dynamic offense. So they got weapons every which way, and the Cowboys ain't going to know what to do with that. Give me my team, the 49ers.
He likes the 49ers. Now, I will say this. I look at this matchup, and there's a lot of stock built up into this matchup. Both sides. The San Francisco 49ers have obviously been the ones that have been the winners over the past couple of years in the playoffs. First round against the Cowboys in the wild card round. Then they got to the divisional playoff game last year, fun game back and forth. These games have been extremely tight games. They've been very fun, very tight, and the Cowboys just seemingly can't get over that hump. So there's a lot of motivation built up for the Cowboys. I could see the Cowboys winning this game. But I don't believe this is the only time we're getting this matchup this year. I do believe we will see this game in the playoffs some point in time, either to be the divisional round, probably the divisional round again. You could see it in the NFC Championship. And quite frankly, I think it would be a better game played in the NFC Championship. But the team I see losing this game wins that one. With the 49ers being at home, I think the 49ers win this game. I do think it's a back and forth slugfest.
You think 49ers going to lose in the playoffs?
I think they could. I think with this game, look at what happened with the Rams. What has the San Francisco 49ers done over the past 4 or 5 years in the Rams in the regular season?
Smack them up.
NFC championship game. What happens? Niners come up just short. I could see this thing happening. Now, vice versa. I could say the Cowboys come out and win this game. They prove us wrong. They win this game. All good. I definitely could see them losing in that playoff matchup because I'm penciling in some point in time in this year, we're going to see this matchup again in the playoffs. I just think that's going to happen. Unless something unfortunate really happens on either side. You really don't hope that happens at all.
Mm-hmm.
I could see this game being played again. Give me the 49ers, but I think this game determines the one down the future. But all of this ends off with a Monday Night Football game in Las Vegas as the Packers take on the Raiders. Las Vegas is favored just barely. I mean, barely. Quite frankly, I look at this Packers team and I look at the Raiders team. Both teams have got some questions, but I think the team with less questions is the Green Bay Packers. I'm taking the Packers.
Give me Jordan Love and my damn Packers. Let's go, man. Let's do it.
Against his former QB in Jimmy Garoppolo. How shameful of you.
How dare me. Oh, goodness.
So let's always keep us posted right here on our thing here. I always write it down. I always write our record coming into the week right here. Week 5, yours, mine. Let's read them together. All right. In tonight's game, the game's being currently played right now. The Bears are moving the football too. So screw it. I still took the Commanders. It's okay. You pick the Bears. I pick the Commanders. Mm-hmm. You pick the Eagles. I pick the Rams. You pick the Bills. I pick the Jags. You pick the Titans. I pick the Colts. Every game after that, we pick the same one. We pick the same exact teams. So right now, our current record is you're at 25-23. I'm at 29-19. If I'm wrong on my 4, we tie. We're back tied again at whatever that record would be at the time. Yeah. But after that, we both agree. We both agree the Saints, the Ravens, the Texans, the Lions, the Dolphins, the Cardinals, the Jets, the Chiefs, the Niners, and the Packers. So really, these 4 games right here are going to be a really big tell of where we're going to be this time next week. Currently, right now, the Bears are getting ready to potentially score another touchdown. Something is going on with that offense. Sam Howell is not being able to throw the ball at all. He's only got to throw 8 times. So I don't know what's going on there. I don't know what's going on with Eric Bieniemy. If it's even him or if it's Ron Rivera, I don't know. I would assume it's Bieniemy because he is an offensive guru and he did create the Chiefs. That's just me, but I don't know. I still got faith. I think the Commanders can come back. They can win this game. The Bears clearly want this game really bad. Really, really bad. They want this game. So curious to see how that goes. But it's time for us to get out of here. I've got another Heel Brothers coming up pretty soon. Stay tuned for more of that. If you're not subscribed over there as well, if you're a Tar Heel fan, kick over there. We're going to be live right here in just a little bit. We're going to be talking Tez Walker again. We're going to be talking Syracuse, what this means for the North Carolina team going forward. We'll probably review some picks again and see how we feel. I think Allen picked 11-1. I picked 12-0, and the one coming against Clemson. So potentially, see what Allen's thinking on that 11-1. I'm sticking with 12-0. I'm telling you that much now. I like that. Even though the Clemson game is going to be extremely hard, the Miami game is going to be extremely hard. Outside of that, I think every game is winnable for the North Carolina Tar Heels. The Duke game is very interesting. Very interesting. Riley Leonard is hurt, but given the amount of weeks it is until North Carolina and Duke meet up in Chapel Hill, there's a good chance that Riley Leonard could be back by that game. And if that's the case, that could be also another very losable game for the Tar Heels. Also, they got to take a road to take a trip down to Georgia Tech. And that should be interesting as well. But all that coming up in the Hill Brothers just right here in a little bit later on. Go to youtube.com/Hill Brothers to catch that. We'll be live right here in just a little bit. As a matter of fact, I need to send him a message now to get him on, and we're going to knock that out. Torrey, appreciate it, bro. We've had a fun time. I've been loving these shows, man. I've been loving the picks every week. This is fun, dude. This is fun. If the NBA didn't have like 82 games, we could actually do a little bit more of that. But it's so hard. They got all their games scheduled throughout the week. It's so hard to do.
Yeah.
But I'm liking this football stuff, man. This stuff is fun. I like it. I think it's going to be fun. We have to come up with something this time, like next year for college football, but just the top 25 teams. Oh, he left me. He's back. Just the top 25 teams. That would be fun.
Yeah.
We'll pick the top 25 games. That way we're not having to do, 100 and some odd games.
Right.
It could just be, 13, 14 games, something like that. 12, 13 games.
Yeah.
So, anyway, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you and all that you do here. And for Torrey, I'm Nathan, and we will see you all next time. And real quick, here's a sneak peek for the Hill Brothers.
You don't want none!